David Garofalo is the chairman and CEO of Gold Royalty Corp. He is our resident gold expert, and we are so happy that he's been so generous with his time. He is on the NYSE American Exchange under the stock symbol GROY. Here he is once again to talk all things gold, all things market. Boy, every time I look at the news, David, not only does it bode well for your company because you're doing such great things, but if I just take the top-down look at gold as it relates to how the market's trading, could you ever get a buy sign on gold than you have right now, considering the volatility of the stock market and inflation and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors that are feeding into this bull run for gold. But I think fundamentally it comes down to interest rates, which when you factor in the real rate of inflation is deeply into negative territory. If you're owning treasuries, your savings are getting depleted day in, day out by inflation. It's getting eaten away because inflation isn't 3 or 4%, it's 15 to 20% when you consider all the things that we need, the necessities of life. So gold is preserving value in a fraught equity market and a fraught money market right now, and it's really preserving purchasing power, if you will.
David, is gold always going to be the it? Will silver ever overtake it? Copper, aluminum? I don't know. Is it always going to be gold?
No, look, I think silver has great fundamentals as well. It has incredible industrial applications in solar panels and the like. So when we're looking at a decarbonizing economy, it's going to do well fundamentally. But it's also trading as a proxy for gold. And typically, the gold price to silver price ratio in a bull market is as low as 40 to 1. Today, it's closer to 80 to 1. So that means that as gold goes through a prolonged bull run here in the next little while, silver has the potential to outperform it by twofold as we see that ratio narrow. When you look at the rest of the metals complex, the one I'm most bullish about is copper. I think copper fundamentals are incredible. When you look at the battery metals out there, that's the one that's most intensively used in electrification of our grids, in electrification of our vehicle fleets. The amount of copper used in an electrical vehicle is 3 times what it's used in an internal combustion engine. So there's going to be a massive amount of demand, and there's this incredible supply squeeze on copper, and I think copper is at least a double or triple from here.
It is crazy how good my catalytic converter theft ring is doing because of copper.
Hey, David, I got to say, you being the finance company or the financial institution, as a royalty company, you're a financial institution for the mining industry, and you're sort of at the top of the line there. But from what you're saying, though, I've heard the adage that if you have a gold mine, you also have a copper mine, or if you have a gold mine, you also have it because of the tailings and everything else. That's got to still bode well for you, regardless of the top-down economic numbers. Talk about the company itself, because you've got a ton of potential growth, as we're talking about on this graphic that's from your website. Talk about that, because it all goes into one pile here, and this all bodes well for you guys anyway.
Yeah, our revenue is doubling this year at a minimum. Actually, we just made an acquisition of a major copper stream this week that will actually enhance our revenue growth beyond the 100% we previously guided. We're just going through the number compilation right now, and we'll re-guide our revenue guidance going forward, but it's going to be a positive development in the short term because it's a very prolific copper mine in Bosnia that we acquired a copper stream on with an 18-year reserve life. And so we're looking at 60% compounded annual growth in our revenue through the end of the decade.
Wow.
That'll only be further enhanced by this copper stream acquisition.
I want to see Mike in the back of one of them dump trucks with a hard hat on. A pair of Daisy Dukes pointing people around with a clipboard. David Garofalo, David, a little short on time. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, pal. David Garofalo, his stock symbol is GROY.
Why am I in Daisy Dukes?
I'm looking at the shirt right now. I can't, you roll that up and tie it like this. And
Carhartt does not make those. I've checked.